Welcome to Franchise Empires.
But I know, I saw you guys have a decent number of corporate stores. So I think it's like 10 or 12 the last time I looked. So
Yeah.
what's the motivation behind that? And I ask mainly because you see a lot of like emerging franchises today that, and not that I don't think there's a right or wrong way. There's been super successful franchises with tons of successful franchisees that the initial concept was just one corporate store and they franchised it from there. So like it can work either way, but 12 is actually, I'd say, for an emerging brand, that's a higher number of corporate stores. So, is there a specific strategy there other than, or is it just like, hey, we know the model ourselves, like we're going to build out our own stores while we're also franchising them?
Yeah. So the idea behind my corporate locations were that I was going to be the guinea pig and testing and putting my money behind all the different markets that were out there. That's the beauty of Magnolia Soap, is that this works anywhere. This can work in a college town. This can work in a huge city. This can work in a downtown location. It can work in a strip center, and it can even work in a mall location. And I did that testing with my own money and my own skin in the game. And I wanted to be able to say that whenever, a customer came to me or a prospective franchisee came to me, that I had, this location and this is what they've done. And it's really just showing the proof behind the pudding with what we've got going on and testing it in all these different markets. Because like I said, I started in a downtown, literally a small town.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, this works here, but does it work because they know me? Does it work because my family is from here? And so then we went to a college town and it worked amazingly there. And then I was like, well, let's try, like 3 hours away from me. So we did Jackson, Mississippi, which is a larger demographic, a much busier, higher demographic for, as far as their income. I was like, let's try it there. Work mostly there. So anywhere that I opened a corporate location, I was really just testing the model. Also the money that these stores generate was great too. And so I was like, as long as I can just duplicate and keep this rolling, that's great income for my family. And so that's kind of what we've done. And we've tested it in new states. And so it wasn't just Mississippi that we tried it in. I ventured over into Alabama. I went into Tennessee. And so I was just really testing the markets.
I like that. I think it's a really good way for franchisors to prove out the concept rather than almost try to convince franchisees, like the early franchisees, to help them prove it out. And I've seen a few other franchisors do something similar where they will specifically target markets for their corporate stores that are like, as you said, like one can be their, a downtown urban more location. The other one maybe in like a suburban area in a strip mall and so on, kind of as you mentioned, just to see the differences themselves. And that way you guys can speak to franchisees with not only more authority, but more importantly, just like you have data to go off of versus just kind of speculating, right?
Right. And that's just it. And that's, every decision we make is driven by data. And that's why we wanted to make sure that we had all boxes checked. So when someone came and asked questions, we had the right data for them.
Definitely.